Today's world is confusing, and there's too much information for one person to make sense of it all. Which credit card should I pay off first? Is non-fat milk good for me? Who should I vote for? Let's face it, if you can't figure out high-interest milk, then how can you be expected to make political decisions that influence a country of over 325 million people? Well, that's why there's fascism. Fascism is the political, social, and economic system for today's world. The Merriam-Webster dictionary defines fascism as a political philosophy, movement, or regime that exalts a nation, and often race, above the individual, and that stands for a centralized autocratic government headed by a dictatorial leader, severe economic and social regimentation, and forcible suppression of the opposition. Choose this ideology and life will be easy. Did you ever look at someone who uses really big words and think, I wish those libtards would just disappear? Well, under fascism, your dreams can come true. Under fascism, you won't have to worry about the pesky little things like brown people or atheists, or who in your country is entitled to basic human rights and who is not. Hint, hint, the answer is nobody. Yes, friends, this truly is the final solution you've been looking for. And if you're concerned if this form of authoritarianism will be up to your high standards, don't worry. American fascism will be the best fascism in the world because it's been endorsed by Jesus. So go out and destroy freedom and democracy by getting fascism today. Paid for by the Fascio Conservative Party, formerly known as the GOP.
I guess we're talking about fascism. We're going to talk about fascism for a few minutes. I'm going to fix my camera, everyone. Oh, it's been a busy morning for Dr. Kennard. My name is Andrew Hall, but you may call me Dr. Kennard. This is the Disappointed Cat Morning Show, and a lot of people don't know what fascism is. And that little bit that Chris and I made, about a year ago now, I just wanted to squeeze in what fascism, the actual definition or common usage of what fascism is. And do you know what? The first story we're going to be talking about is about fascism. And when I talk about fascism microphone, what am I talking about? Evangelical Christianity. Right, because white evangelicals are what? Fascists. What? Fascists. Do I have something to support my assertions, my accusations that white evangelicals in this country are just thinly veiled fascists? Well, I guess we should just go right into this piece, right? Let's do this. See, you thought that we're just like, Trump is gone from office, that we shouldn't be talking about fascism, but no, we got to keep one eye on the fascists because the midterms elections are coming. And let's check this story from the Friendly Atheist. Being an evangelical has become shorthand for supporting Trump, no matter what. Sure, this is from a few days ago, but it is still worth talking about it. When Donald Trump was in office, the percentage of Americans who identified as religious continued to head down. Woohoo! While more people having no organized religious label than ever before has gone up. It's been now, 30% of the population. But there was one group that defined those trends. White evangelical Christians went from about 25% of the country to 29% of the country, according to the recent Pew analysis. So basically, the amount of fascists have gone up within a short period of time. Is that really surprising to anyone? Let me continue. Because we talked about the video was all about fascism, right? But it's important to point out that fascism is this irrational, I think Carl Jung would call it participation mystique, this irrational connection of the believer, of the adherent of fascism to a central figure, right? To a leader. You couldn't have National Socialism in Germany in that manifestation without Adolf Hitler, right? And it's interesting. I'm going to go on a sidebar for a minute. The difference between, let's say, the National Socialists in Germany during the 1930s in the 1920s for that matter, and let's say the Bolshevik Party, the communists on the eve of the revolution in 1917. Lenin wasn't actually like one of them. He was a big player, right? He had a lot of influence, but you had guys like Trotsky kicking around. So the entire party, the entire Bolshevik Party wasn't like centered on the leader, on Lenin, as against to fascism, where it's all about the leader, where the policies don't matter with fascism. And the thing is, we always would talk about, or you would hear commentators reference Republicans during the Trump era, and now having no coherent set of policies, no coherent political philosophy. But that's not a glitch of the system. It's a feature of the system. And now Microphone wants us just to get back to the article. Thank you, Microphone, for keeping me on track. Okay, so here we go. Next panel. Does that suggest a religious group steeped in anti-LGBTQ, anti-science, anti-sex, anti-women views might have more staying power than we knew? Well, I don't know about you, but at no point did I think the white evangelicals had poor lasting power here in this country. They are the official cult of the United States of America and have been for decades. Ryan Burge of Eastern Illinois University says in the New York Times guest essay today that the reason white evangelicals have grown in recent years has more to do with the fact that it has become shorthand for a MAGA cultist, my words, not his, than anything theological. What do you mean? Does it mean being a white evangelical these days is more about being part of a cult of personality? It's more about the assertion of power within a culture? Is it more about, and I'm going to say it, blood and soil, more about addressing grievances? Yeah, I think so. All right. Let's check out. Here's how he came to that conclusion. Many Americans who have begun to embrace the evangelical identity are people who hardly ever attend religious services. For instance, in 2008, just 16% of all self-identified evangelicals reported their church attendance as never or seldom. But in 2020, that number jumped to 27%. In 2008, about a third of evangelicals who never attended church said they were politically conservative. Did my stream just end? I hope it didn't. My second screen here isn't behaving well. I might have gotten shut off for talking about fascists. I don't know. But in 2020, the number jumped to 27%. In 2008, about a third of evangelicals who never attended church said they were politically conservative. By 2019, that had risen to about 50%. He also says that more people are embracing the evangelical label, even if they have no more religious reason to do so. There are evangelical Catholics, Mormons, etc. Since there isn't a religious draw to the label, it has to be something else. And that is Donald Trump. Thank you for telling me that it's still streaming. It's just weird. YouTube just does weird things. And so, like I said, on my second, it just stopped streaming for some reason. And I don't know why. It's something that happened last week with the girlfriend stream too. But I'm glad that you're all here. I'm glad that you're still watching. Yes. So once again, as we continue to see the unraveling of Joe Biden's policies, right, in terms of getting the infrastructure bill passed, in terms of getting the social safety network bill passed, and especially with the elections coming. Yeah, for those of you who aren't in the States, big election coming up tomorrow. Of course, it's not the midterms, but we are going to see elected. And right now, that is a dead heat. That's a statistical heat right now. I believe the Democrat has 49% and his Republican challenger has 48% chance of winning. So I'm going to check out the chat before going to the next rant. Not in the next rant. This is all going to be rants. But I saw this story. I was thinking about it, and it's like, yeah, it's clear that white evangelicals is just code word for base, or what it actually is fascism at its core. What's up, Tobin? Well, Tesla Ranger Fox News host gets death threats from their own viewers. You know, it's from their, yeah, Yeah, and it's actually a sad story about a man who has, I'm going to get to that in a couple of seconds, but it's, it gives me the angers. What's up, Grant Farmer? Good day, Sammy Jenkins. Glad to see that you're here. Dr. Mordecai. Saw Andy on Twitter. Andy does things on Twitter, Dr. Mordecai, right? Good morning, Dee Parks. Glad to see you here. KCA Randy, good morning. I wanted, it's difficult to start off with fascism on Monday, but it's just, I saw the story and I had to, because if nothing else, you come here, right, to watch, to kind of get a perception about what's going to be happening over the next couple of months. And if this isn't about the country battling, the United States of America battling for its own soul, it's either going to be, Western Europe. We're either going to become a Western European country, or we're going to become Alabama, which is a, code, not so much code, but it's a theocratic state. All right, Scott Duke. All right, let's get on to you want to do the halftime tummy rub show? Let's do the halftime tummy rub show, everyone, because I'm already like halfway through the show right now. So let's do halftime tummy rub.
Living with a black cat is kind of like living with a squeaky gothic snowball, a roaming shadow demon, a scatterbrained witch who forgot her reverse polymorph spell, a personal goblin, a floofy, noisy void.
All right, we started off with fascism. We took a deep breath, got to appreciate cats. Right. Now we get to talk about Fox News. This story, pro-vaccine Fox News host receives support from CNN anchor over death threats. Neil Cavuto received death threats for his simple, logical, science-based call for vaccination, said the CNN anchor. Neil Cavuto, he's got a variety of health problems. Links to the stories in the description below, everyone. The CNN anchor, Jake Tapper, reached across political aisle on Friday to support Neil Cavuto, a Fox News host who received death threats after pleading for viewers to get vaccinated against COVID-19. Speaking on camera, Tapper said, "We don't often mention our competitors, but the Fox News channel anchor opposite of us from 4 to 5, Neil Cavuto, has been in the news. Neil is a survivor. He has multiple sclerosis. He's had open heart surgery. He beat stage 4 cancer, and now he's fighting COVID." Neil recently talked about the importance of vaccines on air, precisely to protect people like him who have compromised immune systems. Seems like a rational position to have, especially if you are sick, if you have, the man forced cancer, multiple sclerosis, open heart surgery, and he's fighting COVID, and he took the brash step to say, hey, maybe getting a vaccine is a good idea. Now, sadly, this is once again Jake Tapper from CNN speaking. Now, sadly, many in the audience watching have been lied to about vaccines by others. Neil has received death threats for his simple, logical, science-based call for vaccination. Once again, science is a radical position in an ocean of stupidity. And during a pandemic, speaking science, you're gonna get into trouble for it from a lot of lunatics. From fascists' microphone? Maybe from fascists. More than 745,000 people have died from COVID-19 in the US amid widespread resistance to vaccination and vaccine mandates, particularly among Republican voters. Some Fox News hosts, including the primetime star Tucker Carlson, have pushed right-wing talking points and conspiracy theories. Others have advocated vaccinations. Fox News requires staff to be vaccinated or submit to daily testing. Cavuto made his plea last Sunday, telling his own network's media buzz show My God, stop the politics. Life is too short to be an ass. Life is way too short to be ignorant of the promise of something that is helping people worldwide. Stop the deaths. Stop the suffering. Get your fucking head out of your fucking ass. Oh, I'm sorry. That was my editorializing. Stop the deaths. Stop the suffering. Please get vaccinated, please. He said then he had heard from a lot of people on ongoing nasty emails. You are never Trumper, or you're this. We don't trust you. We don't believe a word you're saying. And that's just coming from my family. Neil Cavuto. It isn't. Oh, well, my heart goes out to him. My heart goes out to everyone who has an immune compromise, who is immune compromised, who has to deal with COVIDiots, who have to deal with people who just are violently toxic. It gives me the angers, everyone. I'm going to check. Oh, I just want to mention that there's the after party, after show at 9:30. I'm going to have to cut the show today. It's going to be 45 minutes long as against to a full hour because I have work to do on my blog, Laughing in Disbelief, over on Atheist Non-Religious. I haven't done a blog post today, so I need to squeeze that in between before I go into work. So once again, from 9:30 to 10:15 will be the after party, after show. Starts at the normal time, ends about 15 minutes early. And then check out the chat. What's up, Glenn Chesterton? Glad to see that you're here this morning. I know that you've been working. Your schedule's been changing around. All right. Checking out what everyone's talking about. Kitties are wonderful. You're right. Your choice of videos is top shelf, Andy. I have to say, thank you. Thank you. All right. Seeing what else everyone's up to. Big Zebra says Canada has a cloaking device, but don't tell anyone. Yes, you don't. Yeah, that's wise. And KCA Randy says, I continue to tell a guy that I've known for 30 years that the right hates America. What they do is that, fascists just love this irrational concept of America, right? Facts do not matter to them. They will say America's always been a Christian country. It's a Christian nation, and it is just a tool for them to gain power over us all. All right. So what have we talked about? We talked about fascism. We talked about Fox News, fascism. And now, do we have another story? I believe we have another story that we're going to talk about. Oh, wow. Oh, this is happy. All right. I have time for this. Afghanistan, gunmen attack wedding to stop music from being played. Music. Not only is science a radical position, but in some countries, playing music during a wedding is a radical thing to do. Let's check out what's going on in Taliban, Afghanistan. Gunmen who identified themselves as Taliban attacked a wedding in eastern Afghanistan to stop music being played, killing at least 2 people and injuring 10, officials say. A Taliban spokesman said 2 of the 3 gunmen had been arrested, but denied they had acted on behalf of the Islamist movement. Music was banned when the Taliban ruled the country from 1996 to 2001. Why? Because reasons. Taliban authorities stated they have not issued such a decree recently. An eyewitness told the BBC that 4 couples were being married in a joint wedding in the Sirkrat district in the province of Nangarhar on Friday. They had taken permission from a local Taliban leader to play recorded music in an area used only by women. But late that night, the gunmen forced their way inside and tried to smash the loudspeakers. When the guests protested, the armed men opened fire. A Taliban spokesman said the case was under investigation. The Islamic State group, which is opposed to the Taliban, is also active in the area and has been blamed for similar incidents in the past. The one thing that we know, or one of the points that we've covered time and time again on this channel, is that one revolution typically can engender another revolution, right? It almost happened here in the United States of America, right? During our revolution, I believe it was the Newport. There was a moment after the American Revolution where there were military leaders, people who fought in the revolution. I think it's called the Newport Crisis or the Newport Conspiracy. And they wanted to seize power from the civilian government because they hadn't gotten paid. And if it wasn't for George Washington talking them down, there could have very well been a military junta that would have overthrown the civilian government of the United States of America. This is back in the 1780s, mid 1780s, late 1780s. We've seen in the French Revolution. One revolution engenders another one, which eventually gets into a military, which of course with Napoleon caused, we had a military dictatorship there. With the Bolsheviks in Russia going back, there was a democratic revolution. 6 months later, there was the Bolshevik revolution. So what we're seeing here in Taliban is not an exception to the rule. It is the rule. It's like when a country gets overthrown, there are more radical elements within the movement which just want to radicalize the country even more. And that's what we could expect too, everyone, in case the fascists ever take over here. The fascists of today would be considered to be, you're not fascist enough. There'd be a purging. Checking out the chat. Wow, this show has gone really long. This show has gone really fast, at least for me today. Ian, Cherry to Tear. Cherry to Tear, how do you like it? Maybe they didn't like the DJ. Those guys could be a-holes. It could, maybe, right? And that's what happened because open fire on unarmed women, indeed. Music is haram. Haram, for those of you who don't know, is basically sinful, as I understand a word for sinful, haram. Glenn Chesterton says, they are patriots as they fly the Confederate and Nazi flags. I'm sorry for laughing, but how can you not but laugh at the insanity, right? Insanity of the right here, of the religious right, of the political. Well, I guess it's all just the right. It's not really the religious right or the political right. It's just the right now. They're so stupid they forgot that they fought against. Yes, Glenn, indeed. All right. I think I am. They didn't. Oh, that chicken dance. I hate the chicken dance song. I have to tell you. John Hudson, what are you doing here? Glad to see you here. Been taking care of the new baby, right? So the patients can get good sleep. Good. Very nice. Very nice. All right, everyone. Well, we're getting to the end of this show. It's hard to believe it's been 25 minutes. But, I'm just, as we get closer to the midterm elections, right? As we get closer to potential chaos, I'm going to be talking more about fascism, to tell you the truth, right? Because I know I'm like a freaking dog with a bone. If you remember what happened between November 3rd to January 6th, I was banging my pot. Banging around, talking about dates and about how the fascists are going to try to take over the country. Probably start doing that again. Maybe, perhaps. We'll see how crazy things get here. I need to calm down. I need a center. Maybe we should do some kind of cat thing. This is really funny, by the way. If you haven't seen this, this is hilarious.
Absolutely still. This vision is based on movement.
Good times, everyone. Hope to see you at 9:30. Wow, it's already 25 minutes into the show. Hey, I just want to say thanks to the 420 Atheist. Here's to the insanity. Hail Satan. I hope, for those of you who celebrated or had a good, there was Halloween, right? Yesterday. I hope you had a good Halloween. 9:30. We're going to hang out. We're going to have fun from 9:30 to 10:15 today, everyone. Hope you show up. Link to be on the panel is in the description below. I'm going to throw down the thank you video, and I'll see you in a few.